right? No. Alcohol, and to another extent, cocaine, will make people do crazy stuff they never thought was possible. They will steal from their family. They will fuck people they don't know for money. I've actually met most of them who've done a coke supply and had sex with their dealer, which I can't believe I would never do that, right? But I was so caught up in my coke frenzy for 3 months, I did crazy shit. Well, I'll tell you this. You will never, ever do anything against your moral code, no matter how many joints you smoke, bong hits you take. You could eat 15 brownies in your shower and say, hey, let's go rob a bank. No, it's not going to happen. You're not going to do a single thing against your moral code that you would normally do, which you cannot say for alcohol or cocaine. Not only is marijuana really good for you, not only will it solve things, cure things, help you, enlighten you. I even got to the fundamental reason why we even smoke marijuana. I'm just giving you all the benefits that are probably secondary to why you really smoke marijuana. But you will never do anything against your moral code on pot. But it's not possible to say that on alcohol and cocaine, because we all know it's so possible. It happens all the time. And the terrible thing about alcohol is they advertise it all the time. Like, for example, alcohol's got an insidious sexual component to it, a bad one. Whereas pot has a really good sexual component, because it doesn't change how you would feel about another person. It just allows you to enjoy what you would normally already do more. But alcohol, for example, the way we market alcohol is really always amazing. Coors. Now, Coors is the frat house beer. You can always tell what market they're aimed at. Like Stella Artois wants the people of 35, 40 who think of themselves as connoisseurs of fine literature and good film. If you use film, you should be drinking Stella Artois or something like that, right? But I can admire those commercials because they don't show young people trying to get fucked, right? But you look at a Coors ad, and what are they doing? First of all, you got these homely guys who are always a little 10 years older than the women, who are always amazingly good looking. The guys are always kind of homely because they have to appeal to the guy, every man out there. And most men aren't that good looking. Not that most women really care. Women aren't even into looks really. But here's the ad set. Okay, so I'm at the side of the room. There's 3 hot women over there. My 3 guys are here. And next thing you know, I've got the silver one in my hand. I'm shooting at her. It hits those women. It sort of explodes, kind of like not so thinly veiled jizz all over them, right? And then the next scene, they're right beside each other, boogieing down together. And the whole idea is they will fuck you now. You've got them drunk, they will fuck you now. Because you were homely, nevishes in the corner, and no one paid any attention to you. But now you've got these women thoroughly drunk. They will finally do your bidding, which they would never even come near you in real life. But they'll do your bidding, and that's how those are marketed. They actually say, buy our beer, give it to women, get them drunk, and you'll succeed. Because what's it all about, this commercial? Getting laid. I always think that fascinating one with the alcohol, which is, what is it, the mojito? Which is a really beautiful, elegant ad of the people swirling around made of water and ice. But they're groaning. If you listen to that ad, they're groaning. They're making sex groans the whole time. They're swirling around. And so what is it swirling around? The alcohol's swirling around. The passion is swirling around. The sex is swirling around. What the hell is going on? This ad is so obvious. And you think marijuana should be illegal? Are you kidding me? Do you know that alcohol is the largest reason we have unwanted pregnancies throughout the entire world? It's the #1 cause. In fact, most of our parents probably had us that way. I've certainly heard that before. You know, Homer Simpson had a write in The Simpsons when somebody said, boy, how did you plan your children? Homer goes, plan! You know, no, they're not planned. Most people got drunk and they're pregnant and they said, well, I guess we should give it a chance. We should give it a try. We will never get you into those circumstances. And it's funny too, because parents worry about that. They used to think that marijuana was a hedonistic, sexual, enhancer and fire it up and get people all going crazy. No, because the thing is marijuana is an enlightening thing. It's going to open your mind up. You're going to look more carefully at things. You're going to be more critical thinkers. And this gets fundamentally to why marijuana is illegal. Because I've already established it's not bad for you. Everything that's legal will kill you. And kill you mercilessly too. Sugar, salt, everything. It's all going to kill you. Cars. It's amazing. Everything will kill you. I bet these chairs kill more people than pot. Toilets do. It's amazing how many people are injured in the toilet. Not to mention the number of people who like overdose on the toilet for some reason. But like Elvis and a couple of Michael Jackson. But anyway, is that people sliding off their toilet in the dark mostly. They're not looking, they go to the bathroom and they think they have enough light, they sit and they actually go up the crack of the house and break their bottom of their spinal column, right, because it's hard porcelain, all that happens. Or they slip off, they don't get on, they slip over and hit the bathroom and plonk their head on. There are over 10,000 major injuries a year in North America because people didn't sit on the toilet seat right. But we don't ban toilet seats. We don't make people do it like an Asian room just to hold the ground. They don't injure themselves. Believe it or not, more injuries are happening because we have Western convenience of toilets. Right? Now that's a hazard. Maybe health care should step in, yes, we should all have pit toilets now, because they're safe, right? I mean, they're banning trans fats, that's what gets me. They'll actually try and, why aren't cigarettes just banned entirely? Because the government's making a lot of money.
Why isn't alcohol banned in Thailand? Well, it didn't work. Prohibitions don't work. I'm not asking that as a policy advocate. I'm just saying because the government is insinuating all this evil. They're getting taxes from the president of Molson Brewery and his income tax. They're taxing the sale of it. They're taxing the sale of tobacco. They control and regulate the pharmaceutical industries and take bribes and kickbacks from them during election time. Car companies give them money. Bribe them off. Or massive bailout. Not only do we massively bail out an industry that's so far behind the times. It should never be bailed out because we punish all the good car makers when we bail out the bad ones. But we're actually, these are death mobiles. We're subsidizing the death industry again. And the government's insinuated in every kind of death industry, well, all along during elections and everything, they're looking out for our safety. That's just theoretically why marijuana's banned, because to make you safe. Always added. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you for your compassion. And I hope to be jailed for your name. And so therefore we have to jail you for your own good. We have to take away your children for your own good, for your own health. We have to take away your car because you don't smoke marijuana anymore. Although how those are related, they don't know. Right? And so on it goes. And then I ask myself, well, what the fuck is it all about? I've been doing this for 20 years. It doesn't make any sense. Marijuana is great. It's helpful. It helps millions of people. It's a bomb and a salve. It's historically got so many precedents, it should be unquestioned. It goes back historically longer than any known form of fiber, any known form of paper, any known form of salve, balm, analgesic. It takes away headaches. It works in a contemporary setting as well as an ancient setting. The evidence is in. Marijuana is an incredible plant, the greatest plant on earth. And it's here for a reason. We co-evolved with it. You know, that's why humans are cultivating it in every corner of earth. And the plant is very smart. Marijuana is a very smart plant. It adapts to whatever environment it's in. And that's one good thing about prohibition. It's turned millions and millions of people into marijuana farmers. We know all about marijuana. We could grow it anywhere, and we will grow it everywhere. We're going to continue to overgrow the government, and we have an obligation to do it for the planet's sake. We have an obligation to do it for freedom's sake. We have an obligation to do it for our sake. We have an obligation to do it for our health's sake. We have an obligation to do it because we need to have a revolution to get rid of this prohibition. And the more we have, the more marijuana we have, the more successful the revolution will be. And you have many different missions I'm going to give you before I go away to jail in September, October. And the reason I'll tell you why I'm going to jail, by the way, I think there's a loose end I haven't tied up somewhere. Oh yeah, why is marijuana illegal? That's the loose end. Because none of it makes sense, not for our health. And it's because they have to control us. Because who are the marijuana people? Well, we're the non-book. We don't believe in the dogma. We're not in the book of the Bible that all the answers are there. We don't think all the answers in the book of the law. Pot people are skeptics. We're critical thinkers. We're free thinkers. We're not buying your one-book dogma. We're not buying the political necessity of controlling all the people so you can save us from ourselves. Right, Mr. $50 billion. Well, you're a good money manager. You're good money. You're good at the drug war. It gets worse every year. We should reward you. Right, we should reward you, Mr. $50 billion debt. I mean, everything this government's doing is wrong. The country is in worse shape. We're still at war after, what, 7 sick fucking years in that place over there. Doesn't make any sense, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to make sense. Because the only purpose of government is to control the people and their tastes and their predilections and their choices and their options until you have no choices or options whatsoever. Until everything that's legal kills you and anything that's spiritually valuable is illegal and banned. And you can't have that knowledge. They didn't even want you to have books and magazines about marijuana, but fortunately, when they passed that law in 1987, I was able to overturn that law in 1995. So we only had complete censorship for 8 years in a free and democratic society of marijuana literature, right? But marijuana prohibition carries on without any logic. Why? Because we are free thinkers. And every government from the beginning of time has persecuted its free thinkers no matter what country it's in, whether it's China, where it goes on today, whether it's South America, where it goes on today, the United States, we're here. It's the critical thinkers, the free thinkers, the people who don't buy into the government dogma, the people who are skeptical, the people who won't accept and be obedient. You have to submit in this country or you will pay. And that's what government is all about. And it's the same in every country on earth, in every time, in every place. Historically, there's only one purpose of government, and it is to control and oppress you. Every time human beings get freedom, it comes at the expense of government. Every time government gets more power, it comes at the expense of our freedom. There's no second ground in it. It's and or. If they succeed, we lose. When the people win, the government must lose. The only way we can be free is if the government loses, and loses its power, loses its control, loses its legitimacy. It should have no legitimacy. The fact that people even consider our government legitimate is shocking and cruel. Endless wars abroad, fabulous, unbelievable deficits at home, endless war amongst its own people, getting worse, violence on the street due to government policy of prohibition. Everything is getting worse under government because government is unqualified to rule, it's incompetent to rule, it can't rule, people are meant to be ruled, we are meant to cooperate and work together and come up with peaceful, honest, consenting solutions to all situations. Government, and mark my words, this is most important, government is the exclusive monopoly of force. And they can control you with every time they pass a new law, it's putting a gun to your head. You know, there's a phrase that says, oh, democracy operates with the consent of the government. Well, if that were true, we wouldn't need any laws. We'd all agree, right? Because they've got our consent. But every time they pass a law, it's them admitting they don't have our consent. They've got to compel us because we wouldn't normally do it. So they've got to put a gun to our head, known as a law, and then they compel us to obey them. And who are these people that pass laws? Look at these politicians. Look at England, for example, where every single politician is on the tape, stealing from the taxpayer, having their moats cleaned with it, buying porn with it, buying extra properties, dodging taxes. Dozens and dozens of people, of members of parliament in England have had to resign the last month because they have been revealed to be cheap, dishonest, petty looters of the public treasury, and at the same time, these are the people telling us how we morally should live through their laws. Government is corrupt at every really important level, not because they're on the take. People are always on the take in some way or another in government, but because they presume to be morally fit to govern us and tell us how to live, and these are the same people that have been putting 2 million people away for 45 years. They are unfit to govern, they are unworthy to govern, it's immoral to govern, it should be illegal to govern, and your first and greatest priority is to try and convince your fellow Albertans that Stephen Harper has to fucking go. He is a menace to the future of this country, of a civilized society. That is your number one. I know it's distasteful for you to me to recommend you vote Liberal. I wouldn't do that. The Liberals are equally contemptuous. But there are 3 other parties in Canada, the Bloc Québécois, the NDP, and the Green Party of Canada, all have excellent positions. The Green Party is the best position. They believe in outright legalization, tax and regulation, and a legal distribution system for marijuana. They did pretty well in Alberta last time. They almost were the second party after the Conservatives. What did the Conservatives get? 98% vote, the other split the 2%? Something similar. Right. And I don't want to think that people vote like automatons in Alberta, but I'm trying to encourage you to take a chance and do some outreach to talk to the people of this province, because they are the bulwark that restores the Conservative government every time. If Stephen Harper gets elected, it's because of Alberta. Only a few other places have to swing one way or the other, but if Alberta were to finally develop an alternate party, or vote for the Green Party, or something different, that would effectively change this government so radically in our favor. The POC people's favor, the people who seek peace and justice, the people who believe in consent and small government, people who should be voting for the Conservative Party, people who should be in the Conservative Party, people who should be MPs that can believe what we believe. We believe in individual autonomy. We believe in faith, family, and friends. We believe in small government. We believe in a balanced budget. We believe in being personally responsible. I don't advocate anybody taking any drugs or marijuana without being fully cognizant of the consequences of their actions. That's what a free society is. That's what a conservative society is all about. It's not some Disneyland of hedonism where you do anything you want. You have to be responsible for everything you do. That's a conservative policy. That's a conservative style of government. That's a conservative point of view. That's what the Conservative Party should be all about. But they're not. They're all about punishment, anger, hatred, bigotry. Anybody who's not like them has to pay. Make the sinners pay. That's the Conservative Party philosophy. Make the sinners pay. Because you, in their eyes, are all sinners. You are all sinners because you have a moral failing, you want to smoke marijuana. That's how they think about it. You got old world, old-time religion. Even though actually the Bible tells us to plant marijuana. After all, the Bible says, take these plants and make meat of them, meaning chow down on them, because it is all good. Now, if that's the divine inspired word of God, and he says it's all good, who the fuck are you to say it isn't? Who the fuck are you to You make such a big fucking deal about being a believer in Christianity and a believer in God. He should burn in hell. I hope God takes him and says, you are a disgraceful sinner. Disgraceful sinner. Absolutely disgraceful. Now, I'm going to take your questions, and I look forward to them. By the way, I have many more people who are pot users who've done great things. In athletics, every single black basketball player has smoked weed, including all the great ones, Will Chamberlain, Carmelo Anthony, my friend Rob Van Dam.